Hey everybody. Hey social world. ¿Qué tal mundo social? Mr. Mom here doing a test and talking about the beginning. So, I was raised by a single mother. Dad took off when I was 2, and I always said to myself, I'm not going to do that to my kids. And as much as I wanted to for my kids to have both parents, I always knew in the back of my, or way deep actually, just deep, that I always knew I would be a single dad. Hence where it comes in Mr. Mom. Now, when I was married to baby mama, um, she would always ask me about how to do everything. Everything. If the kids weren't feeling well, what should they wear? What should they eat? Everything was more up to me. And this is back before texting and live stream, Skype and all that stuff. And just get calls all day long at work. What about this? What do I do about this? How about this? How about that? You know, um, so just naturally, I knew how to raise kids. And a lot of the times when I was coming up with, or, thinking about or learning on how to be a parent, basically I just did the opposite of whatever my mom did, kind of a thing, for the most part, because I wasn't raised, properly. So that's how it started. That's the beginning. Is I had to take charge with the raising of my children. Baby mama left when my kids were about 5, 6. Um, I always had majority custody. They always lived with me. They always spent the night with me. So that was my that was always my thing. I've always wanted to raise my kids. I was always going to be there. I was never going to leave my children. That I always knew. Uh, the last time I had cried because I didn't have a dad, or because I wanted to know who my dad was, I was 8 years old, and I was actually in Peru with my grandmother, who didn't speak English, and my Spanish was definitely broken, and I had to try to explain my feelings to her at that time. I didn't want my kids to ever go through that, and they never did. I was always with them. Uh, when the divorce came upon, I was able to work the schedule with the court, of course, approving it, where the mom would pick up the kids after school, and then I would pick up the kids at their mom's at 6:30. 6 or 6:30, Monday through Thursday, and then of course every other weekends we switched off. So it was a couple of things. One, I didn't have to leave work to pick up the kids, which I ended up doing a lot anyway because mom wouldn't show up. Two, I didn't have to cook dinner for the kids because they were with their mom. So I just have to worry about feeding myself for the most part, and just healthy snacks for them. So that was the start. And I taught the kids like immediately how to wash their clothes, how to separate out their clothes and stuff like that. And mind you, they're 5, 6 years old at this time. But I started teaching them to be independent as well, as much as possible. But nonetheless, they're very dependent on me. Dad watched out for them. Dad took care of them. So that was the beginning. Um, when the kids were small, I knew when they were sick before they showed major symptoms of being sick. If they were constipated, I knew what to give them. Quick tip: if your kids are constipated, give them raisins. That usually works. Raisins, for whatever reason, would make my kids poop. Could work with grapes too, I suppose, but grapes was always easy. It would always make them go. If they have diarrhea or something like that, give them some tea. That'll help stop it. If you could get them to drink tea with lime, that's better. Sweeten the tea for the kids with honey. I just knew this stuff. Why? I don't know. My mom worked, single mom. She worked. She raised me with the iron fist of, which now is definitely child abuse. That's just the way it was. I was raised more by TV, and boy, did I watch TV. I'm still addicted to watching TV, but I was raised more by TV than anything else. So I try to do as best as I could with my kids, and you spend time with your children. We'd get home, we'd help them with their homework. We sat at the table, at the dining table, to do homework. That's what we would do. And then after that, maybe play a little, shower time, get ready for bed. They usually always went to bed around 9, 5 to 6, 7, 8:30, then 9. And of course it increases as they get older. Actually, I kept the sleeping bedtime at 9 for years, even until they were teenagers. Why? Because then they wake up all groggy and bad attitudes, and you know how teenagers get. So I kept that for school nights forever. But yeah, that was basically the beginning of starting to and raising my children. I'll do some other stuff like this more often. I think I'm gonna like this live, because then I don't have to edit, and this is direct, and this is just the way I am. So we'll see how that goes and what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment. I'd literally like some comments so I can know what you guys think about this. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye.